Unitarian Universalist church, building community, inspiring growth, creating change. Here in the heart of Kansas City, we come together to create this hour of shared reflection so that we might be renewed in courage for these times and inspired to lives of greater dignity, higher purpose, deeper generosity, and more effective action. May the words and music and images that we offer today nourish our best selves, calling forth abundant wisdom and love, a love that has the power to overcome both loneliness in the heart and oppression in the world. Welcome to our service.
Arise, O souls, all arise.
Good morning. I'm Jane Gilbreth, a very long-time member of this church. Whether you are here in the room or watching online, we're glad you're here. Your presence enriches all of us and our time together. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation. Our tradition is a very large tent with room for many beliefs and approaches to the questions that matter. It is our values of inclusion, compassion, and justice that hold us together. We seek to build the beloved community, making room for everyone and creating a world where everyone's needs are met. You may be new here this morning. Welcome. We know that your first time attending a church, you may want to keep a low profile and just check things out quietly. That's great, and we're glad you're here. But if you're a visitor and excited to be here and to let us all know that you're here, we invite you to raise your hand at this time. Anybody out there? Thank you for enriching all of us with your presence today. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today.
Before I begin, I've got a couple of things to tell you about. One is that after the service today, starting at about 12:15, the board invites you to a town hall meeting. There will be refreshments. Come back here into the Bragg Auditorium. Also, I would like to introduce our new live stream technician. Their name is B. Schultz, and they are officially staff here now. Welcome, B. We are thrilled to have you on board. Yom Kippur began at sundown on Wednesday and ended at sundown on Thursday. It is the end of the high holidays of Judaism, the turning of the new year at Rosh Hashanah, followed by days of repentance culminating in Yom Kippur. On this day, Jewish people pray and reflect and make themselves right with God. While the day itself is about the relationship with God and making that right, it is written that only after making things right with other people, repenting for causing harm, that a person can know atonement from God. I will not lead you in anything like a Yom Kippur service this morning. I am not Jewish. Most of you are not Jewish. And those of you who are likely attended services on Wednesday and Thursday. I do, however, want to take this opportunity to consider how we as Unitarian Universalists might approach making things right with people we have harmed. Whether we meant to or not, every one of us has harmed someone else. And in living out our faith, we are called to make amends. These opening words are by Carl Seberg. Let there be joy in our coming together this morning. Let there be truth heard in the words we speak and the songs we sing. Let there be help and healing for when we have disharmony and despair. Let there be silence for the voice within us and beyond us. Let there be joy in our coming together.
Our chalice lighting words are by Gregory Pelly. As we light this chalice, may all who gather here be filled with joy and hope, filled with compassion and love. Here, may we be filled so that we can pour ourselves out into the world. Please stand as you're able and join in the affirmation of our covenant, then remain standing as we join together in song. Together we affirm, goodwill is the spirit of this church, and this is our law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth and love, and to help one another.
To all of those here who are young or young at heart, I invite you to join me on the carpet up front for a story. Welcome. We have a golden riding hood today. Princess with dragon wings? Not dragon wings, what are fairies? We have fairies in the room. All right, well, thank you everyone for making your way down here. It's great to see you this morning. And the story I have to tell you, unfortunately, does not have pictures. So you're just gonna have to make the pictures up in your head.
I love those stories.
I also like making up the pictures inside my head. They're so much better than when it comes out as a movie. Gosh.
But also I like the ones that also.
Okay, pictures are also good. Okay, this story is called What If Nobody Forgave? And it's by Barbara Marshman. It's actually published in a book of stories that are related to what were the UU principles. And one of them is highly edited from something that I wrote for my college essay. Okay, in a land far away, a wise old man who knew a great deal about people because he traveled from place to place, arrived at a strange village. In this town, all of the people were carrying what seemed to be great bundles on their backs. Like, think about the biggest backpack you can imagine, but then go bigger. Like, huge bundles on their backs. And they couldn't look around very well because they were so hunched over from the bundles on their backs. Puzzled, the wise man finally stopped a young person. My good young person, I'm a stranger to your land. I've been fascinated by these large bundles you all carry about and never seem to put down. What is their purpose? Oh, these, answered the young person in a matter-of-fact way. These are our grudges. Grudges, you guys know what grudges are? Grudges are when you are upset with somebody and you stay upset and you don't ever let go of being angry at that person. That's called a grudge. And so, all piled up on their backs are these grudges. My, said the wise old man, that's a lot of grudges to collect at your age. An older black man, perplexed by all the Grudgevillians, yes, their town was Grudgeville, carrying their heavy burdens. It's a combination, my apologies. That is the description of the image on the screen. Okay, so the young person says, well, they're not mine. Most of these grudges I'm holding were passed down by my family. And the young fellow heaved a weary sigh. See that man over there? I have quite a load of grudges against his family. His great-grandfather called mine a horse thief when they both wanted to be elected mayor. So their great-grandfather got angry at that person's great-grandfather. And this young person is still holding that anger, that grudge on his back. And the wise man looked around and shook his head sadly. You all look so unhappy. Is there no way to get rid of these burdens? We've forgotten how, said the young person, shifting the load a little. You see, at first, we were proud of our grudges. Tourists came from miles around, but after a few years, Grudgeville became a weary place. Nobody came. We'd forgotten how to stop holding our grudges. If you really want to get rid of those grudges, said the wise old man, I think I know 5 magic words that will do the trick. You do? asked the fellow hopefully. That would be a miracle. I'll go and have the mayor call all of the people of Grudgeville together. And off he went, as fast as his huge pile of grudges would let him. And the mayor lost no time in calling the people to the village square. And the mayor and the wise old man stood on a platform where they could see all of the hunched over villagers. When the people had quieted down, the mayor said, good people of Grudgeville, a wonderful thing has happened. A very wise stranger has come into our town. He says he can tell us the magic words that will rid us of these grudges we have carried for generations. How many of you would like to be able to straighten up, have your grudges disappear, look at the world in a whole new way? Listen to the wise words of our visitor, and then do as he tells you. My friends, these are simple words, yet some people find them hard to say. I think you have the courage to speak them. The trick is that you must say them to each other and truly mean them. And the first two words are, I'm sorry. Can you say them?
I'm sorry.
And the other three words are, I forgive you.
I forgive you.
Now, say these words to each other. And there was a long pause, and then a low grumble from the townspeople. First one person, and then another, said the words. And soon they were all saying them to each other. Quietly at first, and then louder. And then, would you believe it? Just like the wise man predicted, the grudges disappeared. What joy there was in the town. People were heard saying, look at how those trees have grown. And is that Jim? It's so good to see your face. And there was dancing in the streets that day. And it wasn't long before the mayor changed the name of the town to Joy Town. So this was a story about how important it is for ourselves and for the people around us, for us to say sorry and mean it when we hurt somebody. And that when we are hurt, to not hold that grudge forever, but to recognize an apology that is truly meant and to allow ourselves to forgive. That is our story for the day. Thank you for hanging out with me. Yep, that's on the cover. So let us now sing all of you to your classes, and I'm going to offer high fives again.
Oh, now in peace, may love guide all your ways. Beauty be the blessing of your nights and days. Truth on your lips and kindness in your deeds. Faith to follow where the human spirit leads.
Good morning. My name is Devin Armstrong. I'm a member of the congregation here at All Souls, and I also have the privilege of serving as a member of the Board of Trustees. As a person who identifies as a part of the LGBTQIA+ community, I know firsthand how difficult it can be to find welcoming spaces that encourage authenticity. And in our current political landscape, these places are more precious than ever. When so many around us seem willing to participate in hate and division, it's easy to lose sight of the light in the world. But as gay rights activist Harvey Milk said, hope will never be silent. This is one of the many reasons I am thankful to be part of an organization like All Souls that puts diversity, love, and inclusion at the center of its mission. It reminds me to be hopeful, and in being hopeful, it reminds me to raise my voice. So I invite you now to give as you are able to the All Souls General Fund so that we can continue to shine the light together, to sustain a community where every person is welcomed, every story is honored, and every voice can be heard. Your generosity helps us live out our shared values, not just in words, but in action. Please join us in the dedication of this offering. We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful and caring community, to inspire personal and spiritual growth, and to create change toward a just and compassionate society. Thank you.
Our first reading this morning is from On Repentance and Repair by Rabbi Danya Ruttenberg. The 12th century Jewish philosopher Maimonides, in his landmark work Mishnah Torah, codified and developed earlier traditional thinking on repentance, itemizing very specific steps to the process, including public confession of harm, a particular approach to making amends, and deep transformational work that culminates in changed actions. A sincere, victim-centric apology, potentially with others present to help ensure that everything goes as it should, is certainly part of it, but that's neither the beginning or the end of the process. And regardless, the focus is not on whether forgiveness is granted, but on whether the person who has done harm engages deeply in the steps of repentance and repair. The laws of repentance are about amends, but also about transformation. According to Maimonides, a person doesn't just get to mess up, mumble sorry, and get on with it. They're not entitled to forgiveness if they haven't done the work of repair, and they're not necessarily entitled to forgiveness even then. Another human being's suffering is not magically erased because the person who caused it says, "Oh, they didn't mean to do it." This is true in our personal lives, and it's also true of politicians caught saying racist things, and celebrities named as sexual abusers, and human resources departments that cover up employee complaints, and governments perpetrating harms against individuals and groups. Fixing damage involves taking specific steps. There's a process. We can't ever undo what happened, but we can transform the situation and ourselves. But you can't cut corners.
Our second reading today is For When I Really Don't Want to Learn This by Elizabeth Nguyen. Spirit, I would really rather not learn this. Didn't think I needed to. I thought someone else could do it. Thought a leader was coming to do it. Thought the young people could do it, or the elders could do it, or the professionals. Or I don't want to learn to do it because it means letting go of something I hold dear. Letting go of being someone who knows the answers. Letting go of being someone who doesn't know. Letting go of the way I see the world. Letting go of how I might have to change. Letting go of certainty, of logic, of facts, of control, of the myth that you can live on this earth and not harm, or the myth that I can't learn anything new. Help me to learn it, please. And then help me to live what I have learned and do right by the gift of being taught.
The tables and chairs are closer together than I might like in my current size, but I need to get through to join my friends over there, so I squeeze past someone sitting, and I brush up against their arm. Oh. I turn around and bump into someone I couldn't see past the blinders that are my hair. Oh. You really can't get more Midwestern in a response to bumping into someone. Especially in Minnesota, where I lived for 12 years. It's the universal Midwestern expression that covers surprise, recognition of a mistake, and apology all in one syllable. Ope. Most of the time, if I say, I'm sorry, it's actually a reflective verbal tick, not unlike ope. I want to grab the salt shaker that's on the other side of the person next to me. I'm sorry, may I? Or, I'm sorry, I'm not available. And then there's always the flippant, sorry, that tries to be this complete sentence all by itself. I'm sorry. But we say sorry a lot. We toss it off as though it were nothing, an impulse, simply a sentiment we know that we should express. We teach children that saying, "I'm sorry," is more important than necessarily recognizing the pain and the hurt that they caused and seeking to make amends. And children grow into adults who say the words by rote for no other reason than that they know that they should. And we have often learned not to say it at all when it really matters. When our actions cause someone else harm, whether we meant to do it or not, what do we do? I, for one, usually like to pretend that it never happened. I'm not the kind of person who hurts someone else. So how could it be possible that I did? Therefore, there must be something outside of myself that caused me to cause harm. A bad day, frustration, overwhelm. It's not my fault that this other person experienced harm. Maybe it's their fault for misunderstanding, for being too sensitive, for not connecting to my needs. And I might eventually realize that it's possible my actions contributed to their experience of harm. So the standard construction of an apology goes something like, "I'm sorry if you felt that way." Do you see what just happened in my thinking? In not wanting to accept in myself that I caused harm, I turned everything back on the person I harmed. That if is essentially my plausible deniability inside of my own self. I don't have to say that I hurt someone. I can simply acknowledge that someone was harmed or felt like they were harmed. That's not my fault. I don't have to hold blame. I don't have to change anything about myself or my behavior if they happened to feel a certain way, which maybe they didn't actually, right? I go through all these mental gymnastics in order to not have to face my own humanity. Intellectually, I can preach until my face turns blue about how all of us are human, all of us make mistakes, all of us intentionally or unintentionally harm other people. But in the depth of my being, the one that's steeped in a culture that taught me I must be perfect, and that any deviation from perfection is a threat to my very sense of self, that part of me that does not want to accept that I messed up and harmed someone else, to be told or acknowledge otherwise, is a direct threat to my sense of self. Elizabeth Nguyen reminds us of letting go of the myth that you can live on this earth and not harm. The walls I've set up inside myself to keep my sense of self safe include this myth. They are built of the bricks of should that tell me I cannot harm another person and be a good person. If I do hurt someone, whether intentionally or unintentionally, those walls might tumble down. And the protection that the walls offer would be lost. And I believe, that little part of me believes, that the fragile me inside of those walls will be threatened and not able to survive, knowing that I'm not a good person. It sounds a little extreme. And yet, this is how my inside self feels. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone. Because if others didn't have the same fragile self inside of the walls that believe in perfection, nobody else would go through the same mental gymnastics that turn an apology into an if statement about the other person's experience. No one would deflect blame. No one would rationalize. No one would make excuses. So I don't think it's just me. But when just about everyone goes through gymnastics to deflect blame, no one heals. The rift only expands ever wider, and people's grudges and shame pile up on their backs until all of us are stooped over and feel alone. When I shared the story, "What if nobody forgave?" this morning, I wished I could have taken a bunch more time to explain how much deeper saying "I'm sorry" needs to be. Our children will learn the truth of making amends throughout their lives, and yet I'm going to expand on that for you. Rabbi Danya Ruttenberg's book on repentance and repair asks us to learn what we really don't want to learn about taking care of one another in situations of harm. Most importantly, that it's about the person who was harmed, not about us. Not about our own experience of having caused harm, but we invariably make it about ourselves, our disbelief that we caused harm, our worries, our rationalizations, our excuses. Does any of that support the person we harmed? It's not the harmed person's job to hold us in our emotional process. It's our job to make it right. Ruttenberg turns to her own Jewish tradition for guidance in making amends. Maimonides wrote the book on it in the 1100s. He took the various laws and guidances from different Jewish texts to create one cohesive guidebook. It is not titled something convenient like The Dummy's Guide to Making Amends. But his guidance in Mishneh Torah is solid and has held up to time. Because people are going to people. Ruttenberg has distilled his advice into 5 steps. Naming and owning the harm. Starting to change. Restitution and accepting consequences, apology, and making different choices. If we're looking for an easy way to make it okay through an apology, we're going to be disappointed. The apology isn't the first step. It isn't the last step, but close to. No, it's about transforming ourselves into better people, step by step. This is really something I really don't want to learn. It says that we have to do the really hard inner work to make it okay. We have to decide to change ourselves. Because an apology is meaningless without acknowledging the harm we caused. Because an apology is meaningless if we don't seek to change our ways so that we don't do it again. An apology is meaningless if we don't do something to try to make it right. And none of this is something that any of us can do overnight. It's the real work. It's the stuff we take to trusted folks and therapists. Our egos want everything else but to do this work and admit that we hurt someone else. But as Unitarian Universalists, we are called to the value of interdependence, where we promise to work to repair harm and damaged relationships. We know that asking our egos to settle down is the right thing to do. As we are called to the value of transformation, we admit that we have to change. I really don't want to learn this. So we begin with the absolute hardest step. We name to ourselves that we caused harm. We own it. Insert expletive here. I messed up. I hurt somebody. I hurt somebody I care about. I did a thing that hurt somebody. Insert expletive here. Sure, the rationalizations are going to pop up. There'll be all of the excuses, and yet the ultimate reality is that I hurt somebody. It's heavy. It's hard. I might feel like being in a hole and close it up on top. We can't get stuck there. We can't get stuck in convincing ourselves that we didn't do harm, and we can't get stuck in acknowledging that we did harm, because we can't let ourselves give into shame. Shame is the thing that's when our inner selves connect dots that don't actually connect. Shame says that if I hurt somebody, I'm a bad person. That's a false equivalency. Sure, feel bad about hurting someone. Feel guilt. That's normal. That's expected. But don't let it take you to this place of shame that negates everything positive that you've ever done. Make your way into the place of wanting to make it right. Move toward wanting to change so that you don't do it again. Those are steps 2 and 3. Start intentionally changing yourself. Ask, what can I do now to make things better? This is real and tangible. It means making a commitment to repair the harm when it is possible and will not cause further harm. To talk to them. Find out from the other person if there's something you could do to alleviate the harm. Are there bills you could pay? Is there something you can do for them to make it right? And if figuring this out with the person you harmed isn't possible, then think of organizations you could donate money to or volunteer for. What is related to what you did that could make it better or prevent someone else from being harmed in the way you harmed someone? That is restitution. And restitution can also be an avenue toward personal change, opening your heart in ways it hasn't been opened before. Do you see why an apology doesn't make sense if you haven't already done the first 3 steps? I mean, how can you meaningfully apologize if you haven't owned that you caused harm? How can your apology include a reassurance that you won't do it again if you haven't started to change? How can you ask someone to forgive you if you haven't done things to actually make it right? And so the apology itself includes listening to understand and accept the experience of the person you harmed. In it, you say out loud what you did without making excuses. You express compassion. You share the steps you've taken or are taking to make it right. You talk about how you are changing yourself. And then, only then, may you ask for forgiveness. Whether you receive that forgiveness is up to the person you harmed. It's not guaranteed. Yet consider how much you've grown as a person by truly attending to the harm you caused. How much you've learned about yourself, how much you've learned about that situation, how and why you did what you did, and what it means to have opened your heart ever further. Because when the situation happens again, you will approach it as a person who has been changed. You will recognize the pitfalls and notice when you then intentionally avoid them. The relief upon making different choices is palpable. You learned the thing you really didn't want to learn. You let go of the myths and have grown personally and spiritually. The hardest work we have. And goodness knows I faced it and continue to face it when I think about how things ended with my last congregation. It wasn't the right fit. I wasn't the right minister for them, but I made mistakes. And I had to learn from them. And as I have come to you almost exactly 3 years ago, I have brought my learnings from those mistakes. This hard work is the challenge of being people of faith. This is the challenge of Unitarian Universalism. Our values aren't something out there in the realm of castles in the sky, but they are right here, calling each of us in to deeper relationship, to self-reflection, to personal and communal transformation. The spiritual path is one on which we will never fully arrive, ever deepening, ever wondering, ever challenging ourselves to move closer to love, ever challenging ourselves to open our hearts more fully, pushing ourselves to ever grow. None of us is perfect. Let us strive in the direction of perfection. Let us learn deeper and deeper into ourselves that perfection is unattainable, that we will fall short again and again, but that it will not be our undoing. We are forever broken and mended, yet remain whole. It's a balance that we can only try to keep between gently holding our broken pieces and seeing our wholeness, of being gentle with ourselves and one another and challenging ourselves to face our shortcomings, accept accountability, make amends, and transform. You are beloved. You are broken and you are whole. May you move yourself into growth. Open your heart ever further and live out love by encouraging your own transformation. May it be so. Please join in singing our next song, Break Not the Circle.
Love
release this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Let us leave embracing our fullest humanity, that we fall short, that we cause harm, that we are still good people, that as we make amends, as we change, we move ever closer to love. May your struggles be real, and may your reconciliation be warm. All of us human, all of us held, all of us loved.